They say talking about your experiences help you deal with them better. I thought with this subreddit titled such as it is, my experience would be best told here. This is the story of how I got no sleep. I guess in some way this is my fault. In the past couple of months, I have gotten into the horror genre, reading books, watching older horror movies to ease me into it. I even tried to find some horror comics and succeeded with Junji Ito's short scary stories into making me feel tense and uncomfortable. Those feelings I don't mind. It's like I am on edge. But what I don't like to feel is fear. A real fear of the unknown. Fear that has made me scared to sleep. Scared to turn the lights off at night. Scared to even reach my hand down to the side of my bed to pick up my charging cable. So what happened? Well, it started when I was watching The Haunting of Hill House. I am sure you horror enthusiasts on here have seen the show on Netflix. I really got into it, and it wasn't as scary as I once thought it might be. I was thinking demons that would be jumping out at every moment to scare the living daylights out of you, but it was a gradual build-up that paid off in it scaring you. The one story that my brain decided to latch onto was Nellie's story, specifically the sleep paralysis. She would be frozen and then see a dead woman across the room, and then her husband would see that she was panicking and come help her back to life, taking control of her body. I finished watching the show on Saturday morning. I am too much of a wimp to watch these things at night. Sue me, okay? The ending was good, but in the end, it didn't grab my attention, mainly because I was hungover from Friday night birthday antics. Saturday night, I slept like a baby, propped up on paracetamol. The next day, however, things did not go as planned. Sunday, I spent time making homemade pesto pasta and looking for new things to scare me. I got into bed around 10:30 p.m. and fell asleep around 11 p.m. In my dreams, now I remember everything so vividly. It began with my mother handing me an A4-sized painting. From the way I was looking at it, it was a painting of the night sky with stars on it. Nothing else, just dots of stars across the entire page. I didn't think much of it at all. A painting of stars. You never really transition between places in dreams. I find you were just there in the next place. I was in my bed at that point, in my old room that I used to sleep in. My bed was against the radiator and the window. I just about managed to look up, and a little bit of light was streaming through the curtains. Everything was quiet, peaceful even, that I fell asleep inside of my dream. My head was down on a comfortable pillow, and I was covered with a warm quilt. But suddenly I was awoken in my dreams. Something was pushing against my back. It felt like a thick pillow I had. It was heavy, and someone was slowly pushing it into my back. I tried to move at that point, but I couldn't turn my head more to the right. I could only just about look up, and that's where I saw. The ceiling was the painting that my mum gave me, the dark night with stars on it. Except it wasn't stars. A light passed by the window and just about illuminated the ceiling. It outlined people. It wasn't stars. I didn't notice the pattern before, but it was eyes. 2 by 2 by 2 by 2. Eyes staring down at me the entire time I was sleeping. I still couldn't move, but the pillow had stopped pushing into me. All I could do was look up. I moved my hands, but I couldn't feel them. I could see them moving, flailing in the air. For an odd reason, I had black gloves on. I brought them to my face, but I could feel nothing. I clawed at myself, relentlessly trying to feel something, and ripping into my face, but nothing. I tried to scream, but no sound came out. Behind my hands, the outline of people, with their starry eyes, became more clear. They had mouths now, gaping black mouths that left open and moved closer towards me. It was then I tried to move again. I could just about feel my breath. Breathing harder and harder, I could feel my chest moving. My arms had movement, my legs as well. I started to feel like I was running in my bed, but wasn't going anywhere. I looked up and closed my eyes until I woke up in my room again, gulping on air and sweating through my sheets. I managed to sit up. All I could hear was my breath, heaving in and out of me. My phone lit up and my friend had messaged me on Instagram. It was just past 1 a.m. I messaged her back and she was asking if I was okay. I called her somehow. All she heard was rapid breathing. She didn't think much of it. I continued to message her and we talked for a bit. I tried falling asleep again, but every time I closed my eyes, I was faced with those starry eyes and that gaping mouth staring at me. It was 3 a.m. and I started to read a book on my phone. Hopefully this mundane task would put me to sleep. It did for a few minutes until I was awoken by a sound outside my room. I watched my door until the sun came up. Now it was time for work. Thank you for listening. If you like what you heard, consider subscribing, or check out another episode or series. If you'd like a story narrated, message me on Twitter, which is in the description below. Thank you to Reddit user Dizzy for providing us with this story. The story can be found also in the description below.